Kenyans are known for their hospitality, the way they are warm in welcoming visitors. Tourism products are those products or sites or attractions that tourists are interested in. We'll also tell them to take time to interact with communities.
Hello! On today's edition of Investing Like an Executive, we are here at the Nairobi Safari Walk to meet with CS Rebecca Maino of the Ministry of Tourism and Wildlife. Please, come on. CS Maino, thank you so much for joining me today.
Thank you.
So, as you oversee tourism and wildlife here in Kenya, we are coming to the end of 2024 at the moment. What has the impact of the tourism economy in Kenya been on the greater national and county economies so far this year?
Thank you very much, and welcome to the Nairobi National Park.
Thank you.
And you can see the background of our beautiful animals. Back to your question, the tourism sector has been pivotal, it has been critical for the economy, especially in terms of attracting investments in the tourism facilities. It has created jobs, economic empowerment. The sector itself, the tourism sector, contributes about 400 billion Kenya shillings to the economy. And so that is huge, not only at the national level, but the county level. As we know, all the tourism sites in this country are situated in a county. We are partnering with counties to promote tourism, even at county level, because then we attract the jobs. And one important thing is that all the employees in the tourism sector, hospitality sector, 70% of them are youth. And so that is critical even for our country to take care of our young people, tap into their energy and creativity. In total, we have about 1.5 million jobs just as a sector. So you can see the contribution of the tourism sector. Luckily, we are seeing a recovery post-COVID, an upsurge in the numbers, and a very promising future going forward, a very good outlook. So I'll say this is one of the enablers of the Kenyan economy, a very, very critical and backbone sector of this country.
3 to 4% of the entire nation is employed by this sector.
Yes.
GDP, I'm sure, is a bit higher percentage.
It's over 7.9%.
Wow.
Yes. So, and also, it's a great source of foreign currency, as you know. Many years back, or a few years ago, it used to be the number one foreign currency earner. But then the remittances from the diaspora have come in big time. But with the strategies we are putting in place and the growth we are seeing, it will anchor itself back as number one in terms of foreign currency.
All right. So today we're here at Nairobi Safari Walk here in Nairobi. Do you mind showing us around the park a little bit?
I am glad to show you. Remember, this is the only capital city in the whole world that has a wildlife national park and that has a safari walk. And therefore, it's a critical infrastructure that sets Kenya apart, probably more than we Kenyans ever imagined. It is iconic, it is important, it is just special that we have such a facility in this country and in this city.
Awesome. Well, let's go explore it a little bit.
So let's go.
So, Ms. Maino, at a press briefing back in August, you mentioned that you were working to diversify Kenya's tourism products. What do you mean? What do you consider tourism products, etc.?
Yeah, thank you very much. And it is true that in August we did discuss in a conversation about diversifying the tourism products that Kenya has. Tourism products are those products or sites or attractions that tourists are interested in and that make a traveler plan their journey to come and see and experience. For a long time, Kenya was only known for safari and the beach. So it was sort of only, people believed if you go to Kenya, there are only two things to see. But we have quite a lot of hidden gems in this country, and we are unveiling a lot more to add to the beach and to the safaris. We are going big on cultural tourism. I've seen all the festivals that we have had, attracting very many thousands of people from across the country, the region, and even international. Recently, we had the Turkana Cultural Festival, Lamu Cultural Festival, the Ma, and many others. So that is becoming a niche market. We also have the UNESCO national sites. Kenya has 8 of them. We do know that many countries and cities that are worth the tourism sort or status are big on the UNESCO sites, and we are also showcasing those sites. In addition to that, we are looking at sports tourism. Just yesterday, we unveiled the Bargetuni race and also the hiking. We have seen modern travelers are interested in adventure together with hiking, mountain climbing. So that's another tourism product. I've also seen wellness, health and wellness tourism, where travelers want to connect with nature, working on their health and wellness and longevity. We have seen quite a lot of activities like biking, like spinning, like yoga tourism. And another product that is coming up is agri-tourism. Many travelers have never seen a tea plantation or a coffee plantation, so their experience from the farm to the cup to the table has become a good tourist attraction, and many others. But to support that, we have launched 9 circuits divided into the regions that we have in the country. So you can go to the coast circuit, the northern circuit, western, mountain circuit, and each of those circuits then give you a niche experience and a new experience of those products. But still on diversification, we are not only diversifying the products, but the source markets.
Okay.
Our biggest market for many years has been the US and countries like Uganda and maybe Europe. But we are finding another source market from the Asia side, China, India, the Pacific. Recently, we even saw a big group from the Caribbean.
Okay.
And this diversification supports sustainable tourism. Yeah, so we are working on all those new niche and exciting markets, our products.
Well, that's exciting. It's good to know that, you know, we're not just focused on safaris and beaches anymore.
Yes,
We're
yeah.
focused on everything. So.
Yes, yeah. And we have also seen from the region, even the capital cities and the cities of Kenya are a big attraction.
Absolutely.
The shopping malls, the activities, the arts, that city experience, the nightlife, the vibrancy is becoming a big attraction also. And so we have very, very many products that we are working on.
Recently, the Cabinet sanctioned a review of the electronic travel authorization system. here in Kenya, and that is led by you,
Yes.
I believe. And so my question is, earlier this year in January, we saw the ETA system come in. What
Yes.
have been some of the biggest insights, learnings, things that you have witnessed with the ETA system and its impact on the tourism sector?
Yes, earlier in the year, His Excellency the President did announce that Kenya is now visa-free, especially on the backdrop that Kenya is the home of human origin.
Yes.
And it did not make sense to ask people to get visas to go home, as it were. And that was received very well in the world. But there was also need to introduce the ETA, Electronic Travel Authorization, because then you have to vet, appraise, and check who is coming into the country. Basically, that is why you have an ETA. So that was implemented. And the announcement of visa-free, we have seen from the data quite an increase of travelers across. So it's a good thing to be visa-free. And that has facilitated a lot of entry, received very positively. We have also, however, received some concerns about the process, the kind of documentation that is required, the duration from various stakeholders. We have also seen a report that is produced by the African Union together with Africa Development Bank, a report known as Africa Visa Openness Index,
Yes.
which then ranks Kenya slightly lower than where it was before, and actually quite low in the East African community. What we have done is that we have gone through that report, and basically that report says there's a very thin line between asking for a visa and the ETA, based on the ease of filling and getting the ETA. So we have looked at the whole report. We have seen things that we need to do. We need to review the ETA to make it quicker, to make it faster. And one of the biggest recommendations from that report and from travelers is that it should be for multiple entry, so that if you have your ETA now, you can probably use it for a year or 2 years, because currently you need an ETA every time you travel to Kenya. There is also feedback that probably we are asking for a lot more information that can be available if it is linked into the immigration data,
Yes.
so that it is picked automatically. The other feedback that we need to work on is that we need to have ETA process using the 6 UN languages and probably many more languages for ease of many more travelers.
Yeah, accessibility,
Yes,
inclusion
and all that. And then for the last minute travelers, they prefer to come and get the authorization or visas at the entry, because an ETA may take 72 hours, and maybe the last minute traveler has just decided, I want to go to Kenya. So we want to see how to encourage the last minute travelers. Also, if you are on ETA, it has been difficult to extend your stay. The first meeting we will have when we resume in January will be multi-sectoral for us to look at what we need to do to make the ETA of better use and therefore improve our visa openness index.
Okay, well, that's exciting, and it's really good news to hear that.
Yes.
You're taking a step back from a project that has been implemented and saying, okay, how can we improve this? Coming from the private sector, myself as well, anytime we launch anything, it doesn't usually work the first time, or it's not as efficient as it can be the first time. And so I think this is a necessary step in making sure that the ETA system is inclusive, accessible, and convenient for the entire world.
Yes, and I want to assure all travelers that we are really working on streamlining it. And I'm certain that together with the Department of Immigration and other stakeholders, we will spare no effort until everyone then feels that Kenya is more open, more accessible, more inclusive, because that is the aim of having introduced the ETA. So there's no cause for alarm. It's just like every other project, every other process. It always could have teething problems or generally areas of improvement in terms of efficiency, in terms of speed, and in terms of convenience. That's what we are doing.
Awesome.
There's no cause for alarm.
Unfortunately, in recent months, there have been reports from tourists, from business people about their experiences coming into the country, utilizing the airport. And even about a month and a half ago, we heard reports that the KRA wanted to collect information on travelers' phones coming into the country. My question for you is, what active steps are you taking as Cabinet Secretary protecting Kenya's interest in the tourism industry, in making sure that tourists have a seamless experience while they're here in country?
Thank you. It is true that tourism is propelled by the need for adventure, the need for joy, holiday, rejuvenation, and experience. That is the essence of tourism. And it is true that we actively receive feedback. We even have introduced entry and exit interviews and feedback so that we can ensure that travelers are getting that experience that they so desire. I know the first entry point or contact into a country is the airport. When a traveler leaves their home country and they go to a destination, the first contact with that country is the experience they get at the airport.
Yes.
And as a government, and even as the Ministry of Tourism and Wildlife, our determination is to work with various stakeholders, Ministry of Transport that is in charge of the airport, KRA, in charge of customs, the health ports. We want to work with each sector to ensure there is a seamless process when a guest comes, so that it is more accessible, it is more convenient, memorable, so that we fulfill the desire of a tourist and a traveler. No tourist or traveler leaves their destination determined to come and experience inconveniences. That cannot be allowed. And so we are having active engagements with the ministries that I've talked about and the stakeholders that are involved to receive feedback and to sort out the issues. One of the major things that as a country we know is we need to upgrade our airport infrastructure, and that is well on course. Because if you have the right infrastructure, the processes are then even better. The second one is also security. We want everyone who enters Kenya to feel secure. As the Ministry of Tourism, we are working closely with the Ministry of Interior. We recently signed a memorandum of understanding so that we just strengthen the tourism police unit. That will be the first contact with the tourists when it comes to the security matters. Also, we need to have correct information, information desks. When a traveler comes and they want basic information, it should be readily available so that there is no inconvenience. The third thing, even from the private sector, the tour operators, the people who offer taxi services, the hoteliers who are handling or who are serving the tourists, we all want to have the same shared vision of providing a memorable experience to our visitors. So we are working with all those stakeholders. And then when you get into the country, we are also disseminating information to the general public and everyone so that we maintain our hospitality. Luckily, Kenyans are known to be warm, hospitable.
Absolutely.
But we can't take it for granted. It's something we need to nurture so that it goes from generation to generation. It is sustainable. But also, finally, the products that we offer, we want to ensure that those products are memorable and they meet the expectations of the travelers. Hotels is also another thing. We want, if a traveler books a hotel and it is accredited to be 4-star, 5-star, 3-star, when they come to the country, they find the exact expectation that we are having. So we are working on accreditation, classification of hotels. And so we have a whole action plan of what we need to do for continuous improvement and for ensuring that that experience meets the expectation and it is memorable. And that will ensure repeat tourists, repeat visitors, and also referrals. And that will propel and promote tourism.
Well, they say word of mouth is the best marketing.
It is. It has been known that when we analyze our tourist data, 45% are actually repeat visitors or referral visitors, which is such a powerful segment. If we streamline that, growing our numbers is almost automatic.
Absolutely. I know,
Yes.
you know, me having only been in country about 3 or so years,
Yes.
I've probably had 20 or so different friends who would have never visited Kenya in the first place.
Yes.
Come to visit me, and now they're talking about, hey, we didn't make it to Lamu, so I got to come back and go to Lamu. We got to...
You see the multiplier effect of having a good experience?
Yeah.
Recently, somebody came from the Caribbean. They had a good experience. They went back, put together a group of 22, and they visited Kenya. And they told me, because I went to meet them, when they come back, each will bring one more person. So you can see. Yeah.
Awesome.
Yeah.
So my final question for you today is, what advice do you give a first-time tourist, a first-time visitor to Kenya?
A first-time visitor to Kenya, my advice will be that indeed Kenya is magical. That's why we have brand Kenya. I would encourage them first to have enough days because there is so much to experience. I would then give them a list of all the hidden gems. They have to go to our national parks. Our beaches are a must-see areas like Diani. We have the UNESCO monuments. We have cultural tourism and all the products that we have, and we'll provide that to them. I'll also advise them by telling them that Kenya is safe. We have streamlined our security. We have tourism police unit. We'll also tell them to take time to interact with communities. They have a beautiful culture. They can go there and experience the cultures, the different cultures that we have. I'll also tell them that Kenya is not a seasonal destination for tourism because our weather is good throughout the year, and therefore they don't need to worry whether you need to book your trip in January, February. They are free to come back. I'll urge them to fully enjoy. They can go online. Our Kenya Tourism Board has a whole catalog and menu of what to look out for. I'll also tell them to really enjoy themselves because Kenyans are known for their hospitality, the way they are warm in welcoming visitors. I'll just tell them to relax, enjoy this destination, and also come back again. And in terms of sustainability and environment, Kenya is huge on taking care of the environment, even in all our tourism sites. That will be something also to observe, but also to give us feedback on what we can do better to make their experience more memorable. And when they go back, to tell their friends and family about Kenya, so that they also experience what that tourist will have experienced.
I think that's spectacular advice. And I do have one quick fire question for you to end us off today. This is a question I ask all of my guests.
Yes.
And this is, when you were first starting your career, what did you spend your first paycheck on?
When I started my career after graduating as a lawyer, I then got a job in a law firm. Very little pay. Those days, I think it was about today's 5,000 shillings. I had really desired to have a watch, a wristwatch, and I went to one of our streets called Luthuli Avenue, ready to buy my watch. And I went to the shop. I went inside, then somebody told me, come to the display and we show you more clearly. And I went out and I showed them the watch I needed. And it was about 400 shillings. And they said, yeah, this is a good watch. Let me go around the corner. That's where we store them so that I can get it out for you. They never came back till today. Yes, so my attempt to use my first pay to buy a watch did not yield fruit. But thereafter, I made a determination. I will buy myself a watch, but more importantly, I will embrace timekeeping, because I spent my whole day there, perplexed and waiting and praying and hoping this guy will bring the watch that I had chosen. So with that in mind, I am an ardent timekeeper, always on the dot, in memory of the watch I had paid for, and it never was. Yes.
Well, thank you so much for your time today. We appreciate it.
Thank you very much.